Welcome back to our tutorial, and we are talking about the principles of graphic design, and we are continuing from where we left. We just talked about balance and how it affects design. To this time we are talking about contrast and how you can use contrast to make your creative work more pleasing to the eye. The difference between two or more objects in a design is referred to as contrast. The difference in objects could be light and dark, thin and thick, small and large, bright and dull, etc. Contrast is most commonly associated with readability, legibility, and accessibility. The most important element in a design should have the most contrast. A text-based design could be high contrast by using black text on a white background. To dial down the contrast, you would use gray text on a white background. An easy reminder is to think of a black and white photo. If the photo has a full range of white, gray, and black, it has high contrast. If the photo only goes full from a the photo only goes from a dull white to a dark gray, it's a low contrast image. There are certain times when in a design you look at a design and you can't really make out what's being communicated. Why? Because it's not contrasty enough to show what is important. So contrast is used to show, number one, to attract the viewer, somebody who is looking at the visual, and number two, to bring out the concept, to bring out the message that is embedded in that creative piece of work. So contrast is very important, and whatever we do, even if we talk about writing using your notepad and a pen, if your notepad is white, you can't use a yellow pen. It won't look as readable, because it's what the colors, they're close together, and you can't use black on a black piece of paper because there is no contrast. So it's just the same concept that we used when we were writing in our notepads. You will find that there are certain pencils that when you use to write, that's why HB is mostly recommended when writing or drawing, because it's got more contrast. The other pencils, I think they are the H pencils, that don't have much contrast from the white sheet of paper, especially when you are using newsprint. You cannot even make out what is being written other than just making a mark into the paper itself. So contrast is very important, and we're going to learn a lot about what it does to our designs. So this is a poster, or this is a banner which is illustrating the same concept of contrast, but it's talking about the negative that lack of contrast does to your visual. So you will see that you can't really make out what's being written there. You can't really make out what's written there because the color is subdued, the text is too thin, and you see, as compared to what is underneath there, bad design ruins good ads. There they said contrast is the relative difference between light and dark areas. Low contrast makes for unreadable text. Don't be a design fail. So if you do this, like I looked but I didn't see you, the way it's written there, then you have failed in your contrast. Good design service announcement is brought to you by Out Media Studios. All this, that is actually very easy to see. You can actually look at it and there is enough contrast. But when you look at the top there, what's written up there cannot be made out. You can't really see what is written there. Yes, for some of us who have got sharp eyesight, I can see what's written there. But there are people who can really barely make out what's written there. So that's bad contrast. So when you are designing, sometimes the contrast is made possible by the inclusion of a more contrasty color.